forgot to press record. So let's go back. Sorry about that. Boom, boom. All right, good. They made it a lot easier, by the way, on the Zoom, in that I don't have to keep stopping sharing to get something else new, because it now shows you whatever's on my screen. I really like it. But this is a cool little link to the details of the California Gold Rush. Now, the California Gold Rush started in 1848. However, photography was going on in the country. So there's actual real photos, black and white photos of the people that went out to California to get rich quick by finding gold. And this is a really cool site. It's got a little 3-minute video from the History Channel on the California Gold Rush and how that led really to California being the big, great state that it is. Swarms of people went into that state hoping to get rich by finding and panning for gold. So that's a really cool link. Now, we have our spelling words here in vocabulary. These are words that are determined to be very important for your entry into 4th grade. Of course, it's not the only words that you should know, but these words in particular were chosen by educators. Make sure incoming 4th graders know these words. So I'm going to ask you now to unmute yourself. And when I say the word, I want you to repeat it after me. Details.
Details.
Develop.
Develop.
Diagram.
Diagram.
Disappointed.
Disappointed.
Division.
Division.
Effect.
Effect.
Elect.
Elect.
Endangered.
Endangered.
Event.
Event.
Examine.
Examine.
Example.
Example.
Experience.
Experience.
Fatal.
Fatal.
Flexible.
Flexible.
Furious.
Furious.
Not furious.
Furious.
Furious. Yeah. Furious. Gathered.
Gathered.
Now this one has the J sound instead of the G sound. It's gist. Say gist.
Gist.
Gist means the overall idea of something. Like if somebody explains something and they ask you, did you understand it all? And you can say, well, I got the gist of it. I got the overall understanding. Infer. Intelligent. Now, in order to get these words down, it's not just important to know how they spell, which is important. It's not just important to know what they mean, which is also important. But the most important thing, of course, is to use them.
Sound it. Yeah, whatever.
So we're going to use them in an exercise here after we look through this great infographic called Punctuation Jungle. Here's the Punctuation Jungle. And notice I didn't have to stop share anymore. I could go right to another item on my desktop. So I really like how they changed. Zoom updated their processes, and I really
Was that the update I had?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody had the update.
Yep. I did.
In fact, I'm sure they sent it out to everybody that downloaded the program. Here you got the comma. This infographic is really well done. It's big. It's a big picture. It's super high quality. But it gives you details and explanations of the comma, the period, the question mark, the good old semicolon that allows you to drop the conjunction. So you use the semicolon to bring together two independent clauses. The exclamation point, and I love this. Hyphen is the small baby. Then you have the N dash, was a little bigger. Then you have the M dash, which is even bigger than that. So you get the hyphen, the N dash, and the M dash. And they're all slightly for different reasons. You have the colon, which introduces a list of things. And what else? The parentheses. Somebody pointed out this morning in my homeroom that the parentheses is in every one of these. See? The different punctuation marks are put into parentheses. So the parentheses, you got the brackets, which is a very serious parentheses. When you see brackets, it's like really pay attention to that. And then you have the fancy parentheses, which I really like because they look like faces looking away from each other. See that shape there? Those are braces, and you have a key. You can draw them, but you also have a key on your keyboard that allows you to type them. You have the quotation marks and oh, I love the ellipsis. I love that. I probably overuse it. You get the ellipsis right there and apostrophes. So this is a nice review of all the most important punctuation marks. And it's the punctuation jungle. So I will put that down there. Now, here's what I did. I included examples. This is not in your daily assignment, but I wrote these this morning. I went up here. I'm gonna let Mila, the dragon girl, in. I went up here and chose the word additional. So you've got the first 10 words from additional to the word coast. I want you to use those in the 10 sentences and then decide which punctuation marks you're going to use. Please bring the additional following items, and there's your colon. Colon is used to divide up hours and minutes, but its most important function is to show you, here comes a list of things. And here, bring the following items: bread, pickles, hammers, ketchup packets, and onions. That sounds like a really great picnic, doesn't it? Number 2, my wonderfully agreeable Uncle Marty, the president of the bank, lent me $1 million. Here I have the hyphen to indicate this is an additional thing that you need to pay attention to, because he's not only my uncle, he's the president of the bank, and that's why he was able to lend me $1 million, which of course would never happen, but it's fun to make imaginative sentences. So let's try another one. Let's choose the word argue.
Argue.
Okay, so here we have the word argue, and I'm going to write a sentence, and I'm going to include some of these punctuation marks up here. I love to argue with my sister. My sisters. My mother doesn't appreciate it. So what two do I have there? I've got, what's this right here? Anybody? What's this called?
Semicolon.
What's this called right here?
Apostrophe.
Apostrophe. So you're practicing the punctuation marks and you're practicing these important words up here. We'll do the next 10 and we'll just continue it as we go on, using these words and sentences so that you get used to using them and you know how to use them. All right. At this time, I would like somebody to unmute and tell us something about either your fiction book that you're reading or your nonfiction book. Who'd like to go first?
Me.
Go ahead.
So.
Who's me, by the way? Who's talking?
Mila.
Okay, Mila, go ahead.
So my nonfiction book is about herding dogs. It basically has a lot of types of dogs classified as herding dogs in the book, and it tells you a lot of stuff about each one. For example, size, weight, height, fun facts, where it came from, hometown, stuff like that.
Great. Thanks, Mila. Somebody else. Damien, go ahead.
So something about my fiction book is that it's like mythical, but it's also not that clear to me. Although like I pretty much understand the gist
Yes.
of it. The gist of it.
Yes.
It's still like I understand the gist, but it's still not that clear. But it's very like mythical, and it has like some realistic fiction in it, but it's like very little.
Sometimes it's really good for your brain to try to read something that you don't quite completely understand. It really is, because that word gist, it really indicates, okay, I don't understand everything, but like you said, Damien, if you get the gist of it, you can continue reading on in the story, and it really stretches your brain to try to figure out what they're saying. So, I mean, you can read Dr. Seuss books for the rest of your life and they'll be wonderful, but they won't really stretch your brain any more than they did when you were like 4 and 5 and 6 years old. So keep challenging yourself. Who else would like to share?
Lena. Lena.
Lena, go ahead.
So apparently we are 20% banana.
What?
That's from my nonfiction book.
For what?
One second. Let me go find the book.
That's all right. You mean genetically we're 20% banana?
Kind of.
Wow.
Oh Lord.
That sounds very slippery.
Iron tastes good.
That's a very appealing fact, Lena.
Yeah.
Damien, you eat iron every single day.
That's possum.
Don't drink it.
Who else would like to share? Viga, go ahead.
So in my nonfiction book, it's about like dogs, but they tell you about different dogs and like all their height and weight and stuff, but they let you
Wait, Mr. Bagby. We're 50%.
Hold on, Viga's sharing right now. We'll get
We
right
share
back to you, Lena.
50% of DNA with bananas.
Okay, Viga, go ahead.
So then like it shows you how to draw the dogs, but also fun fact, did you know pugs came from ancient China?
Wow. I think I've read that before.
Yeah.
Pugs. Yeah, countries around the world have been developing different breeds of dogs for tens of thousands of years. That's why we have so many different kinds. Who else would like to share? Anybody else want to share what they're reading? All right, mute yourselves. Oh, now everybody unmute yourself. And we're going to read out loud the 6 traits of great writing.
Yay!
And you're going to read along with me as I'm pointing to it. You ready? Read with me. Ready, begin. Ideas.
Yes.
I choose
Strong
topics. I use strong details to make my writing interesting. I stick to the topics so my writing is clear and
makes sense.
Next one. Ready, begin. Organization. My writing has a strong beginning. I put things in order so my writing makes sense. My writing has a strong ending. Follow my cursor here. Ready, begin. Word choice. I choose words carefully. I use strong words to paint a picture in the reader's mind. I use juicy words to make my writing sparkle. Stop for a second there. I think the author of this infographic meant by juicy and sparkle. Those are metaphorical words. Words aren't really juicy, nor do they sparkle, but they do metaphorically. What do you think they mean by that? Anybody?
Me. Mila. I think by that it means that like make the words good, make the words stand out.
Good. Strong words that really paint that picture.
Strong words.
Like instead of saying the steak tastes good, you could say the steak was succulent.
The steak was juicy.
Here we go. Next one. Ready? Here's the box. Follow the cursor. Ready? Begin.
Voice.
My
writing
has
a
style. My writing sounds like me.
My
personality shines in my writing. Next one. Convention. I use capital letters. I use exclamation points and question marks. I leave spaces between words. I check my spelling. Next one. Sentence fluency.
My
writing flows smoothly and is easy to read. I start
Each sentence differently.
I have
Long and short sentences.
Now, I didn't create this infographic. This is classic teaching model that has been developed over the years now to make it simple to grasp. These are the 6 main things that you need to focus on in your writing. So that will be reviewed again in 4th grade and all the way up. Your teachers will be looking for ideas, your organization, the words that you use, does it sound like you, or are you plagiarizing somebody else or trying to sound like somebody else? Does it have good grammar and punctuation? And do the words flow together? So all 6 of those traits should start being visible in your writing. All right. I want you to continue your narrative story. Now, let me tell you what we're doing with your last examples of writing. You're going into 4th grade next year, all of you. And when you go into 4th grade, and I know who your teacher is, I'm going to send them your last great examples of writing. And they will know from the beginning of the year what to expect from you. So really set your expectations to show, hey, whoever my new 4th grade teacher is, this is my best writing. This is what I really can do. And they can gauge then where you are in your writing. Not test scores and things like that, or grades, but really they can see it. So you'll be giving me an example of a narrative piece, a persuasive piece, and an informational piece before the end of the year. Got it?
Wait, Mr. Bagby.
Yep.
Yes.
So, when we're working on our narrative story on a piece of paper, sooner or later, are we supposed to like put it in Teams to give it to you, or like email it to you?
Okay. This was talked about at the very beginning of this process in Teams, and I'll remind you what you can do. I can't, of course, reach through the computer screen and grab your writing from your paper, but with the technology that we have, by the way, we wouldn't be able to really do this 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Technology really came around just at the right time for online schooling, which makes this all possible. So what you can do is simply take a picture of your writing, make sure it's clear, make sure it's not fuzzy, make sure it's readable, and then just send that picture to me in email. That's how you do it. You can also type it though.
Can we also send it at Teams?
Yes, you can do it that way too. You can upload it that way.
Because I've sent it on Teams. I've not sent it on Teams. I've typed it.
Okay. So, but if you're writing, because some people like to write, they're not comfortable typing. By the way, there is a really cool app on Clever to help you get your typing better. Did you know that?
NitroType.
Grammarly.
NitroType.
Yeah.
Grammarly.
So there really is a good app
NitroType.
there to help get your typing skills better, because as you probably know and can guess, the typing is not going to go away. And it's going to become ever more important, as well as writing. But the typing skills, I might just put that on the daily assignment on tomorrow. On how civilizations began. Remember, we're going to be reviewing the last part of the year on everything that we've studied so far in ancient civilizations. So here it's, how did they begin? What are the traits of civilization? How did they start? The most exciting project for the end of the year is right here, though. Decide your place. Decide what you're going to be an expert at. You're going to give us a tour in the last week, and you will be guiding us on Zoom to your place and talking about the place that you chose. So to start it off, you should know what hemisphere it's in: northern, southern, eastern, or western. Every place on the globe is either northern or southern, eastern or western. It's two of those: your western, northern, or your southern, eastern, or any combination of those. But know what hemisphere, know what continent, know what country, and then if you type in the place and go latitude and longitude, you can also find out the latitude and longitude of your place. I will need to know what place you chose, just to make sure you can find information on it. Quiz today, and again, people have been skipping this. Not full participation by any stretch. If you're not able to get on the punctuation, the quizzes, then you need to re-enter an email and I will send you a link. So if you're not able to get on there, just send me a message in the private channel. And by the way,
No.
I'm thinking about scheduling another private channel meeting just to make sure everything's going well in
I
these
don't.
3 weeks. Family fun. If I were doing this, if I was a kid in the classroom right now, at my age, I'm 59. There's 2 people in our household. I'm 59. My wife is 60.
Oh.
Yes. So the total is, what would the whole total be? 119 years. That's scary. Divided by 2 would be like 59 and a half. The range is just like 10 months because we're just 10 months apart. So that's how you would do it. You total up the ages, you divide it by the number of people in your house, and that's your average age. Could somebody explain what the range means? That's a math term. What would the range of ages be? What does that mean? Somebody?
It's about.
Anybody? The range of ages in your house.
Oh,
What does that mean?
Mr. Bagby.
range.
Mila.
Mila,
I
what is
think I
it?
know what it is. I think that range is like the average is like what most people of like what the age of most people in the house is.
No, that would be the average.
Damien.
Actually, that would be the mode. But the range, there's mean, median, and mode. But the range means the youngest to the oldest. Like if I have a newborn 1-year-old and I have grandma living with us who is 77, then the range would be from 1 to 77.
I was gonna say that.
If you have a little brother that's 4 and your mom or dad are like 33, the range would be 4 to 33.
1 to 34.
And the other thing about hemispheres here is a fun fact is, this is pretty wild. 90% of every human being lives above the equator. Only 10% of humans live below the equator. That's pretty interesting. You think about a whole half of the earth only has 10% of the people. Pretty wild. And I'm pretty sure the Western, yeah, I'll have to look up the Eastern and Western divisions, but 90%. So I hope you're enjoying The Little Prince. I really am enjoying recording it. I think it sounds great. I think it looks great. And I want you to continue enjoying the book and watching it. And I will be waiting for your comments in your private channel. Tell me what place that you want to be the tour guide. Okay? Let me know. Because if you pick a spot that I know you won't be able to get much information on, I will recommend another spot. And it should be relegated to a specific spot, either a city, a town, a very special place. You know, not that you can't just say, I'm going to do China. Too big, way too big. You can't just say Australia or South America. Those are too big. You have to narrow it down to a specific town, a place where you can find pretty specific latitude and longitude. At this time, if you want to ask any question.
I think I have a question for Chloe.
Nope.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves if you don't have any questions. If you do, you can click the little raise hand button. I'm going to stop this share and stop recording. Boom.